Yo, 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 yo. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Yo, ladies, all the information that you get from other women out here, most of the time, some of it is not really good information. So watch the information that you're taking, because at the end of the day, you could feel like she's not lying to you and she could be telling you the absolute truth, wholeheartedly telling you the truth. But sometimes that truth hurts.
I'm not a lawyer, but let me tell you about a case. I'm not a lawyer, but let me tell you about a case out of San Diego that even us non lawyers may have an interesting opinion on. Tap in. So, this is 31-year-old Michaela Reilersdam, and she's a wife, a mom, and an OnlyFans model. And back in March of 2023, a 55-year-old man named Michael Dale, who I haven't been able to find a picture of, reached out to Michaela after seeing an ad of hers on a website. So the two of them begin texting, and Michael Dale has some very interesting requests of Michaela when they meet up.
So Mr. Dale was asking Ms. Reilersdam to buy a pair of boots and glue them onto his feet. So it's an incoming text from Michael Dale to Ms. Reilersdam. It's a advertisement on Etsy for dildo to buy dildos for $36. I was thinking of something like this, say 6 inches long, that you could put down my throat before you glue my mouth shut.
Listen and we don't judge.
Listen, we don't judge.
She said the same thing. That's funny. That was funny. She said the same shit.
These all three are incoming from Michael Dale to Michaela Reilersdam. I have been seriously thinking about you gluing my eyes shut at the end. The next text is the same day at 11:57 a.m., which says, "Can we glue my eyes shut, please? So sexy, you being the last beautiful angel I ever see." The next text is at 12 p.m. So
Yo, is this romance? It's not to sound disingenuous, because I'm pretty sure we all understand what happened in this situation that we're gonna hear. But is this matter of fact, I'ma listen.
3 minutes later, and it states, "So can we please glue my eyes shut at the end? Seriously."
He got something against being able to see.
The next text message is an outgoing message from Michaela to Michael Dale, which says yes.
All right, how about the fifth and final text?
That's from Michael Dale to Michaela Reilersdam at 12:03 p.m., which says, "I seriously want a pool of glue over each eye, okay?" The text reads, "So does that mean you will truly and honestly put a pool of Gorilla Glue in each eye to make it truly permanent for me, my sexy angel?" From Michaela Reilersdam to Michael Dale.
It's like, some of these dudes be doing some weirdo shit. That's the only thing I could come down with, because if somebody tell me they willing to do some shit like that to themselves, I'm not doing it. What? But hey, anything for that money, some people think.
12:13 p.m. It says, "I will do whatever we put into writing to be signed, Dollface."
I know that's right. So, based on these text messages, it's pretty clear the type of activities that both sides are expecting to participate in when they meet up. And while they're having these conversations and preparing for the meetup, Dale in total sends her about $11,000. So these conversations happen for a few weeks, and then on April 17, 2023, Michaela comes to Michael's house. Michael had only moved into his place about 5 days prior to Michaela coming over, and he was actually renting a room in a house. So the whole house wasn't his, just a room was his. Michael had a number of roommates, but on this particular
How the hell you freak nicking, you freak nicking, but you can't freak nick because ain't that some shit? We all know how this story is gonna go, but damn, you freak nicking, but you can't freak nick because that's not your place. That's crazy.
day, only two of them were home. So the night begins for Michaela and Michael, and according to police, Michaela even filmed some of the evening for her OnlyFans audience.
The videos appeared to have been taken by Michaela in selfie mode. There were videos of her dancing to some music, topless. In the background for the first couple, you could see Michael Dale. His hands or his wrists had been bound, and he had black duct tape over his hands.
Now, the videos aren't available for us, the public, to watch, but they are played in court, and the officer describes what's on them.
I want you to breathe with a bag over your head.
So they got you dead to rights, huh? Even if he was a willing participant in probably his death. But what? You went along with it and you thought this was romance?
What do you think?
So in this video, Mr. Dale is laying on the floor. His hands are still bound and covered in black duct tape. Well, this time he's got a plastic bag over his head, what looks like that loose plastic wrapped around it, as well as around his neck. He has pink duct tape wrapped around his face, wrapped around his head completely, holding it all in place. This is a video that is being filmed by Michaela, pointing downwards at Mr. Dale as he speaks to him. At one point she says, maybe I should tighten your neck up, and it looks like she reaches down and kind of hooks her finger underneath the plastic around his neck and kind of tugs on it. So in this clip, Michaela's filming herself sitting on the floor, a vibrator, and pans back and forth between herself and Mr. Dale, who's laying on the floor at her feet, still bound in the same way. Everything's all the same, with the wrappings around his face, his hands, and his legs. He lays there motionless for most of the video, and then makes one movement, and kind of his body just shifts, and looks like it kind of takes in a breath and lets out a breath.
The next
So you freak naked, huh? Yeah, you freak. And you think he a freak like that? He is paying you. Oh my God, bro. I don't know. Yeah, now you going to jail for something he wanted to do to himself. Crazy behavior.
video that they play has much of the same from the previous video, Michaela dancing to some music and enjoying herself. But what police noticed is that Dale has stopped moving.
You mentioned in the previous clip how there was one moment where Mr. Dale's body kind of moves or shifts. Any movement with Mr. Dale in this clip?
No.
Police say that Michael Dale was wrapped up in saran wrap and had a bag covering his face for about 8 minutes. And while all of this is happening in Michael's room, Andrew, one of Michael's roommates, has gone to the kitchen to get him something to eat, and he hears some noises.
I came in to get dessert and I heard some commotion. I put my dessert back and then was proceeding back to my room to call my sister because I was like, what's going on? My sister owns the house. She's basically the landlord. I was calling my sister because Michael had brought home female and stuff was going on that we don't really allow kind of in the house. We don't have overnight guests.
See, I knew it. You couldn't freak Nick. You could not freak Nick, and you just was being disrespectful. And now somebody going to jail. Why you listen to him, lady? That's my question. Why do you think that it was okay to do that? And you out here listening to him.
We try to be respectful, but it sounded like, if stuff was going on that shouldn't be going on. I mean, to each his own, but you got roommates. You gotta go get a hotel for that. You move in 5 days and this is what's going on.
So Andrew heads back to his room, which was in the garage. And when he does, the other roommate who was home, Helen, comes out to the garage to tell him that something has happened.
I remember next was Helen coming out to the garage saying that the girl needed help. So I came into the house and walked towards Michael Dale's room with Helen and the girl. That's when I saw Mr. Dale, and I said, we need to call 911. He had no shirt on. It looked to be like a pair of sweats, and then from his feet to about his waist was wrapped in saran wrap. His hands were above his head, and they were tied up. I can't remember if it was rope or tape. The girl started CPR, and I went to the front door and opened it up for the ambulance or police officers that were going to be coming.
So police arrive and take note of how Michael Dale is positioned, and they also take note of some of the supplies in the room.
So he appeared to be unconscious. He was lying on his back. He didn't have a shirt on. His arms were above his head, down like this. It appeared to be like some sort of tape and rope around his wrists. He was wearing red pants and had both of his legs bound together by a clear plastic wrap. And he was also wearing some black boots. I believe there were like bundles of what appeared to be used tape yellow rope. There was about 7 boxes of clear plastic wrap, rolls of clear plastic wrap. Collected 3 bottles of Gorilla Glue. I believe we also impounded the black boots and a clear, like medium-sized bag with red lipstick on it.
Michael Dale was rushed to the hospital but was declared brain dead the day after the incident, and within a matter of days he was taken.
Sure, he damn sure was. Yeah, see, he been out of air for how long now? Yeah, but I said I don't think she should get blamed for it because he planned it. He planned all of this for himself. She just didn't know what the fuck she was getting herself into because she saw money. But at the end of the day, you were a willing participant and you should have been more knowledgeable in those moments to know what the hell you was doing instead of just doing it.
Off life support and his life ended. Now, according to the medical examiner, Michael Dale's official cause of death is asphyxia.
Essentially, there was a lack of oxygen to the brain because of the plastic wrapping around the head, leading to fatal injury.
Following the incident, Michaela was very cooperative with investigators. She gave an interview, she hands over her phone, and she answered all the questions that they had. So things have been kind of quiet for the last 2 years. And then in February of 2025, Michaela gets arrested and is charged with second-degree M related to this incident. Prosecutors say that while Michael did hire and agree for Michaela to perform bondage and fetish acts, there's no evidence that he ever asked her to obstruct his ability to breathe, to place a bag over his head, or to put tape on his mouth. In fact, Michael's roommate, Andrew Smith, says that when he went to the kitchen to grab that dessert, what he heard was the exact opposite from Michael Dale.
I could just hear him say, can we stop? I'll pay you a certain amount more money to stop. And that's when I realized that it wasn't a friend, it was a prostitute or whatever.
You took it that way. Yeah, no, but that's gonna seal your fate right there, ma'am. At that point, you was bullying him and taking all that power to your head, because if he's gonna pay you and continuously pay you, why would you not listen to him and stop when he was saying stop? Unless you really was drunk on power at that point.
And so prosecutors say that second-degree M is the correct charge because second-degree M requires implied malice. And in layman's terms, that means that a person intentionally did something knowing that it was dangerous and could end somebody's life. And so in this instance, prosecutors are saying Michaela intentionally put the tape over Michael's mouth, she intentionally put the bag over Michael's head, and she intentionally left it there for over 8 minutes, knowing that it was dangerous and could very well lead to him suffocating. Now, in Michaela's defense, her attorneys have emphasized that Michaela is the one who asked the roommates for help when she realized there was a problem.
Michaela, at the time, she seemed to be concerned about Mr. Dale, correct?
Yes.
She was upset about what was happening, correct?
Yes. She came out asking for help from Helen, and then Helen asked me, and that's when I came in.
She's also the one who was performing CPR on Michael, and she's cooperated with police. Her attorneys say that she was engaged in fetish play that Michael Dale consented to, and it just resulted in an unfortunate outcome. So that's the background. Now, last week, there was a preliminary hearing, and a preliminary hearing is when prosecutors present some of their evidence to a judge, and a judge determines if the case should proceed to a trial or if the case should be dropped right then and there. And so after hearing all of this evidence, the judge in this case did express that this case has a very unique set of facts, and he acknowledged that Michaela did not intend to take Michael Dale's life. The judge then questioned out loud, when does bondage and fetish turn into implied malice? Despite the judge having that question, he still ruled that there is enough for this case to proceed to trial. And so, as of now, Michaela will have to face these charges. She's currently incarcerated because her bond was denied. A trial date has not been set yet, and honestly, it can take a while. So if this case goes quiet.
Yeah, she already been doing this for about 2 years, you said. That's just crazy, though. They should have let her go for it, but at the end of the day, we don't know what they actually see. And I think it could even be the simple fact that the neighbor or the neighbor had said that he heard her saying something in particular. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what y'all think in the comments.